Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Screen Sanctum. It's Steve, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about Henry Cavill. Trending everywhere. What's going on? We all know what's going on, but what are my thoughts? This is going to be a casual video. I'm just sitting here, putting my thoughts together. No script. I don't usually do videos like this because I'm not a news channel, but I really like Henry Cavill. I do. I like him in every movie I've seen. I loved him as Superman, and I know it might have been a little bit divisive between fans, but just my 2 cents. So, Man of Steel, I know on Twitter and anywhere you look and ask, for some reason, it seems like 50% of the people love it or like it, 50% of the people hate it. Because for some reason, there's a group that just wants traditional Superman, like Christopher Reeve's Superman, dealing with hope and things like that. Superman doesn't kill. I get it. So Man of Steel gets a bad rap, I think, because I honestly think it is my favorite DCU movie, pretty much. Not saying it's the best movie, but I think it's my favorite. I loved Aquaman and I really loved Wonder Woman. Um, Batman vs Superman. It was enjoyable. I don't think it was a great movie, but it's a comic book movie. Like, who really gives a shit? I enjoyed it. Justice League and Zack Snyder's Justice League. They are what they are. I'm not going to get into that. I'm not here to start a war in the comments. But we're just talking about Henry Cavill. I thoroughly enjoyed Man of Steel, and I really loved his portrayal of Superman. And I'm sad to see him go. Now, I understand that the new head of DC Films, James Gunn, he has a tough task ahead of him. He has to simultaneously release, well, Warner Brothers is already releasing them, but we already have some DCU movies coming out. We just had Black Adam that had Henry Cavill in it, which I believe The Rock forced that. So don't blame that on James Gunn. We still have Aquaman 2 that needs to come out. And I believe The Flash is still coming out. So we have right now 2 legacy DCU movies coming out. And James Gunn has to manage those while rebooting this franchise. And that's a difficult task for anybody. Not everyone's Kevin Feige, where, he's been successful for the past 15 years and he doesn't really have to reboot anything. Regardless of if you like those movies or not, you can't deny Kevin Feige has done a great job. But for DC and Warner Brothers, it's going to be difficult because everyone wanted to see Superman in like Shazam. They wanted to see another Justice League with Superman and Henry Cavill. And as much as I thought there was a good movie in Justice League, but I didn't quite necessarily think it needed to be 4 hours. I would have loved to see another Justice League with Henry Cavill Superman because I think he is a great character, a great actor to actually have played Superman and Clark Kent. I don't really go back and forth with the Zack Snyder stuff. Are his movies better or his ideas better or worse than the direction they're going? Zack Snyder has one kind of set, I guess, direction for his movies. Like, they're usually all dark. So if one character is dark, they're all dark, pretty much. And that's fine if you like that sort of movie. If you don't, you don't. But Superman, I think, was the one that people had some questions about because of him like killing Zod at the end of the movie. A lot of people didn't like that. But I feel like in the real world, if Superman or any superhero was here who has a no-kill rule, I think besides Spider-Man, because he's a kid, he'll web you up until the cops come. But if Zod came to Earth and was planning on basically taking over the Earth and not caring who he killed, and I saw Superman come fight him and he let him live, I'd be pissed. Like, why would you want to keep Zod alive? I understand in the terms of Christopher Reeve's hope, Superman doesn't kill, but give me a fucking break. Zod deserved to die. But anyways, Henry Cavill for sure will be missed. Some people, I don't know why they think he's not a good actor. I think he's really good. I think some people feel like he plays himself in every movie, which I don't see that either, because Clark Kent was not his character in Mission Impossible. Not even close. Or The Witcher. Clark Kent wasn't The Witcher. Speaking of The Witcher, I was sad that he was leaving that, but at least he's leaving on his own terms. And that encourages me, because he joined that because he loved the books and he wanted to do a show based on that. And apparently the creators are not really going by the book that much. So that's all on Henry. He feels like it's not what he signed up for, and that's good. I'd rather someone leave a project than be stressed out and do it because they have to. Regarding the new DCU movies that are going to come out, I know James Gunn tweeted a lot, actually. He tweeted a lot yesterday, even though it wasn't like a formal release. So he did tell us, obviously, that Superman is his top priority, which this is the biggest thing that pissed me off about Warner Brothers and DC. When I was a kid, I'm 42. When I was a kid, my favorite character, probably like a lot of people's and kids' favorite characters, was Batman. I fucking loved Batman. I saw Michael Keaton as Batman. Batman Returns, I believe, was the next one. And then they just kept rebooting it and changing the character and rebooting it and changing the character and changing the actor. Actually, Batman went from my favorite character to my least favorite in like 15 years. And I'm over Batman right now. We just got another one with Robert Pattinson, which I saw it. It was fine. It was good. 4 hours again, or like 3.5 hours. Why? I mean, I don't know. But then you have Superman. You have this iconic character, and I think you had the most perfect Superman in Henry Cavill. So you had, I think, 2009 Man of Steel came out. So it's definitely been over 10 years. We got one movie. How do you fumble that? And it's like a head scratcher, literally. And I understand Marvel has all of these movies, so, they made so much money where, fine, you can do an Ant-Man movie. But there is no way that Ant-Man should have gotten a trilogy before Superman. That's fucking crazy to me. Like, for all of the money and effort they put into these Batman movies, this past 10 years, you could have made, at least 5 Superman movies? Like, not Justice League, just Superman. That's what makes me really sad. Not that he's leaving the project, because, you have to do something new if you're going to reboot it. Just the fact that he dedicated a chunk of his time and love of the character, because nothing gave me the impression that Henry Cavill didn't like playing Superman. And even his Instagram post yesterday, he seemed really sad that he was stepping away. So you had him for all this time and did absolutely nothing with him. Like, Wonder Woman 2, should Wonder Woman have gotten a sequel? 100% yes. Wonder Woman should get all the movies. Wonder Woman 2 wasn't very good. And Superman hasn't gotten a sequel, and Batman gets a movie every 3 years, it seems, and a reboot every 5 years. I just don't get it. I don't know if there's anyone out there who's happy that Henry Cavill's gone. I don't think there is, but he is, and we have to deal with it, and it's sad. But there are other movies that he'll be in, and I can watch him whenever I want. If I want to watch him as Superman, I'll go watch Man of Steel or Justice League or whatever the fuck he's in. Besides, I think those are the only 2 movies he's in. Black Adam, I'll see it when I could see it, but not on the top of my list. I know I read that James Gunn is not going to be directing the next Superman, but he's in the process of writing it. This actually makes me happy. Not that I would be not happy if someone else wrote it. I'm just saying I trust James Gunn's scripts, and some people could say, "Oh, I don't want it to be like Guardians of the Galaxy. Like Superman shouldn't be that." I mean, James Gunn did Guardians. James Gunn did Peacemaker. James Gunn did the Suicide Squad. He could combine all those aspects into his Superman script. I think it would be great. They just have to find a really good actor. And this isn't a fan cast video. This is just my thoughts on Henry Cavill leaving. But I feel like the script or the screenplay should be in good hands with James Gunn. I feel like James Gunn knows how to build a universe. And his outlook on these movies won't be in a silo. And I'm not trying to knock Zack Snyder, but all of his movies are the same. They are. Basically, the tones of his movies are exactly the same. Superhero movies. James Gunn, theoretically, would probably be able to write a script or an outline for every one of these characters or every movie they plan for the next 10 years, and they would all be different. I'm not saying you're going to like them, because not everybody likes James Gunn, but I feel like he would be able to create a universe inclusive of every type of genre. And I, for one, am looking forward to the future of the DCU. I am interested to see how they're going to do it with these movies that are coming out, because Aquaman, I think, comes out like next December. So 12 months away. I highly doubt there will be a new DCU movie like James Gunn produced coming out next year, because he's supposed to announce, I think, the lineup in January, or at least what movies will be coming out in January. I doubt they'll be able to film them and release them next year. So I feel like 2024 will be the beginning of the new DCU. I know we have a new Joker movie coming out. That's a separate thing. And then the Batman sequel, separate thing. I do like that they're bringing Ben Affleck back to direct a project. I don't know if it's going to be Batman again. I kind of hope it's not, just so we could see him do something different as well. But, I mean, that's sort of my take. I'm really interested to see who they bring in to be the new Superman, because we just had a great Superman. And unfortunately, Warner Brothers and not James Gunn, stop blaming James Gunn for retconning Shazam. All right? Like, that was Warner Brothers. That was The Rock, I believe. They pretty much forced him into that movie, probably knowing that James Gunn was going to take over and reboot it. I think what they wanted, really, was for people to be like, oh, Superman's in it. And they wanted Shazam to make $1 billion so they could say, look, we don't need to reboot the DCU. But it really didn't do that well. So all in all, I say farewell, Henry Cavill. I loved you in everything. You were a great Superman. In my opinion, the best Superman. And I'm not going to include Christopher Reeves, because that's like iconic. For my time and for what I've been watching, Henry Cavill is the best Superman to me. And I wish he was still here, but he's not, unfortunately. But with James Gunn leading the DCU going forward, I feel like they're in good hands. You know, it'll be cohesive, coherent, and I feel like the story will make a lot of sense. You may not like every movie, because as much as I like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, and as much as I liked Suicide Squad, I enjoyed Guardians 2, but there were some pieces in there that I thought were dumb. But all in all, I enjoyed the movie, but I don't just like anything someone puts out. So right now, I've been talking for about 15 minutes, and I really wanted to keep this to about 5. But that's my thoughts on Henry Cavill. I, as well as millions of people out there, are going to miss him. But I really do hope they find another slot for him in the DCU. Maybe he could play another character. But since I am a quote-unquote Marvel MCU stan, because I do enjoy the Marvel movies more than the DC movies, Kevin Feige, why not why not try to steal Henry Cavill away? He's a free agent. Bring him to the MCU. The only thing is, a lot of the characters that many of us who don't read comics have heard of are already taken. So I don't even know who Henry Cavill would be able to play in the MCU if he were here. So if you got it this far to this video, at least in the comments below, let me know, who do you think Henry Cavill could play if he were in the MCU? And definitely let me know your thoughts about him leaving. Are you happy he's leaving? Are you sad that he's leaving like I am? Do you think do you think James Gunn is the right man to lead the DCU into the future, meaning build out a coherent universe? I don't think they'll ever be able to overtake Marvel because of the consistency, but I do think that they'll have hype of new actors, which is always hype when a superhero movie gets greenlit and then we find out who's going to play the character. The hype for the actor is one, and now there's going to be hype for a new universe. So I think they're at a good starting point from like today forward to do great things. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And as always, if you're on Twitter, Instagram, or Hive, you can find me at Screen Sanctum. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace, guys.